Tell your story. Tell your story, sister. My name is Alice Aida Ayers, and I am an educator, I'm an artist, I'm a performer, and I'm a storyteller. I've lived in Africa for 20 years, and I'm now back in America. And I have written a one-person show. Before all these Negros moved in, this used to be a good neighborhood, you know? Now they move in and they bring these little cabrones everywhere running around. There's too many of them, I had been called wire hair, tar baby, nigger, spook, high yellow, half breed, half white, half black, half caste, red bone, mulatto, wannabe, sand nigger, chocolate covered taco, light but not quite white, but never had I been a mongrel. Left, 2, 3, 4, your left, right, left. Give me your left. Give me your left, 2, 3, 4, your left, right, left. Give me your left. He's holding me against the wall and my feet are dangling. Slim, let me down. Let me down, Slim. I can't breathe. Let me down. Let me down. Bitch, I'll kill you. Let me down. Leave my mommy alone. My mommy. Leave my mommy alone. Leave my mommy alone. And then the words that shattered my world. If that little bitch don't shut up, she's next. It's a very visceral and in-your-face type of play, yet it combines humor and song and love to help people who are overcoming possibly addiction. It addresses child molestation. My little princess always brings me luck. This is where my story gets complicated. When he slipped his hand under my dress and through the leg hole of my panties, I didn't know that I was supposed to stop him. It didn't hurt. When he touched my privates, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to let him. I didn't know because all the grown-ups were standing around. Everybody was there. If it was wrong, somebody would have stopped it. Daddy, you were right there. Didn't you see what was happening? It addresses issues that we have all faced or issues that are familiar to all of us. And it addresses ways of moving past, moving forward, and not using your past or what anybody does or says to define who you are. Two years later, in Albuquerque, after waiting and watching and looking over my shoulder every single day, I came up for air. But I learned something. In every situation that we're in, we have a choice. We can make a decision to either be immobilized or inspired. And sometimes it takes stepping off into the darkness. The workshop that follows the performance addresses those very issues. I'd like to connect with people who are involved in psychotherapy. I would like to connect with people who are going through or who are teaching or have organization involved with 12-step programs, people in recovery, people who have experienced some type of trauma or abuse or post-traumatic stress disorder, people who can use techniques that I have that can help them to become balanced, to get out of the emotion and into the intellectual, to help them to try to solve their problem. These are the people that I would love to connect with. There's an actual physical process that when something negative comes into your head, for example, the self-doubt, I'm not able, I can't do this, I don't have enough experience, my past torments me. there's a way of actually turning off that chatter in your brain that I teach and turning on all the positive attributes that you have, and it actually forces you to receive that positivity. And so these kinds of methods and the practice of doing this for an extended period of time become a permanent part of your existence, and they build confidence and they build self-love. And that's the key, spirituality and self-love. And so I go through a whole process of teaching how to get grounded in spirituality, help people to understand that this is the foundation from which everything else grows. Since performing this, I have received so many phone calls and so many text messages and connected with so many people who are very grateful that I shared my story, because they have been through much worse things that I ever went through, and they have always wanted to say something either to their children or to their mate or to their family, and they've always kept it hidden. I had a 60-year-old woman who had been through multiple traumas, and she had never shared it with anybody in her family and never had a successful relationship. And the reason why was because she could never forgive. She could never forgive herself for her role in it, and she could never forgive the other person who had abused her. But she said that since hearing this, that she feels like she's got the courage now to be able to tell her family, to tell her mate why their relationship has been and has suffered some of the things because of what she's held inside and not been able to talk about. I believe with all my heart that when you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at change. My granddaughter saw me coming out of the shower one day, and before I could put my towel on, she, shocked, says, "Oh, Granny, your boobies are melting." I said, "Yeah, isn't that beautiful, honey?" So what story do I tell myself now? How do I become the narrator of my own story? How and when do we determine what our truths are? And when do you understand and acknowledge the power within you to create your own story? I believe that this is a tool that can be used to help other people to change their mindset and understand that what anybody says or does in our past does not have to define our future, that we can write our own chapter.